Azure table storage. First, we have to understand when exactly the table storage is going to be useful. Basically, table storage provides no SQL data store service. Now, before I proceed further, let me explain you practically. I did mention this example in the introduction, but maybe for many it is not clear. Let me explain once again. Let us say we have got category table. And in category table, we are going to have maybe the category ID and the category name and other details about the category, whatever. Now, we are going to have product table. Let's say product table also has a product ID, but every product has to belong to some category ID. And then we should have product name and lot of other details. But problem now is all the details about the product which I am going to store here will not be same for every category. So if I have a category called as furniture, furniture will have what details? I mean, furniture will have weight, furniture will have color, what is the type of furniture it is, what was the manufacturer date. Like that, I would go for another record in the category pets. And pet would have age, pet would have again breed, color, here also we might put. So there are few fields which are common and few fields which are different. That is a point to be noted. Now for every product like this, we cannot keep adding more and more columns and keep growing this particular table. So what is the way out? Now what I want is, I want to store furniture, I want to store product, all I want to store furnitures, I want to store pets, all of them in the same table. I want to store all of them in the same table, but I cannot have common columns for all of them. So that is where this NoSQL database comes into really handy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to store a pet in the form of JSON in this product table. I'm going to store a furniture in the form of JSON in this product table. So I can say one pet is one entity, one furniture would be one entity, and every entity is going to have its own key and value pairs. For example, for pets, we might have, let's say, a dog, 3 years, what? Pomeranian, basic dog, color, let's say white. A cat, 1 year, I don't know breeds for cat, Indian cat, black color. So these are the records I would like to store in product table, but how will I store it? In every product is going to have product ID, every product is going to have category ID, every product is going to have some name, and additionally I may put this data. Likewise, same thing for furniture also. I might put table, I might put chair, I might put this, I might put that. All this also I'll put in the same table. So whether it is this product or whether it is this product, both of them are supposed to have a value in the category table referencing that is furniture and pet. Remember, category table is actually going to have values as furniture, values as pet. So here I will have furniture, here I'll have pet, here I'll have electronics, like that, different categories, plants, And for these categories, we are going to have these key value pairs. We are going to have for furniture these key value pairs. So these are keys. I can say this is key, this is value. This is key, this is value. Likewise for breed, it can be Pomeranian or Indian. It can be color, white, black. So this kind of details I'm going to store in product, and product is not going to be a SQL table. Or even if it is SQL table, I will have one more table called as no SQL product, or I would just say product attributes. And for every product attribute, I will have some ID. So here also I'll put ID. Here also I'll put ID as the schema, and that ID value, let's say, is here 1, 2, and that 1, 2 is what I'm going to store in the product attributes. So here I'll have 1, here I'll have 2, and these things will further go as 1 comma category. Let's say for furniture category is, for pet category is 2. Assuming that this is 1 comma, this is 2 comma, 3, 4. So what are we storing? Product ID is 1, category ID is 2, product name is name which we want to give to the, let's say, dog, and rest of the details. Rest of all these details I'll actually store in this table, product attributes. And here I'll store maybe something like product attributes. So this table is in SQL Server. This is also in SQL Server. But this product attribute table, where I don't know what columns will be stored, I'm going to put as no SQL table. I'm going to put this in storage, table storage. And the reference of that table storage, I'm going to use it here. Something like this. So this is only sample data. I mean, it's not complete. Likewise, so we are linking what? We are linking category and product by category ID. But at the same time, when the details of this particular product are fetched, I will use this ID and go to product attributes and read all the attributes of the product and display them. So in product attributes, how I'm going to store age is 3, breed is, color is, same thing here. And let's say we have one more product which is a furniture. Now for furniture, I would like to store weight, so 10 kg, comma, color, let's say brown, type, chair, manufacturer date, let's get rid of it, too many things. You can put that also if you want. Like that, 4, I would have 30 kgs, black, and give, and let's say table. So these are details of furniture. So how will they be present in product table? In product table, I'll have Category of furniture is 1. What name I would like to give to the furniture? That name I'll take maybe chair with some ID, whatever. And product name is given, product attribute. So this value 3, I'll store it here. One comma category 2 comma cat comma 1. No, this is 2, sorry. So here also it is 2, or let's just for the sake of so first is dog. These are the details of dog. Second is cat, where I'll store 4. Furniture, and then I want to store the details of this table. So this becomes 2. This is 3 and 4. I know it requires your patience, but this gives you perfect idea about how in production one is supposed to create the schema and what is the practical requirement of NoSQL database. So here category ID for, I want cat. Category ID for pet is 2. So put 2 here. What type of pet it is? I want to store details of the cat. So this something got messed up. No, this is about table, sorry. So this is table. So category ID is 1 and table 01 you call the name as, and give a link. For the table, the link is 3. So like this, you may have tables. Again, I am repeating. This is in SQL. This is in SQL. But this I am going to put in NoSQL because each row has different fields. Every row has different fields. That's why I'll put them in different tables. I'll not put them in same table. So dog 01, cat 01 as the name. So this is how one is supposed to architect your database schema. One is supposed to create the database schema when they want to work with NoSQL database. And yes, Azure SQL table provides that facility. When you are working with Azure SQL storage, it provides you the ability to store partially structured data. And we are saying this is partially structured data. It is not completely structured, it is partially structured data, offering high availability and massive scalability option. NoSQL data store, authenticated calls only it will take. Like in Blob, we had an ability to access anonymously and also with authentication by using access key. But in table, we do not have the ability to use anonymous access. Compulsory authentication has to be performed. Only authenticated users can access data from a table storage. There are a lot of alternatives also. Not necessary you should use a SQL table. Cosmos DB is supposed to be more modern way of doing the same things and much more advanced. But Cosmos DB is little costlier when compared to table storage, and that is why table storage is preferred. Common usage of table service, you can use table storage to store flexible data sets. This is flexible data set, such as user data for web application, or it can be simple address book or some device information or any other metadata type for your service requirement. See, all these examples you can always contradict and say I'll store it in SQL database. Why should I store it in table? Now, one reason why we would also store data in NoSQL is for the kind of volume of data we are going to deal with. There are situations where I want to probably store lakhs of records. Imagine you are doing an artificial intelligence application. So in that you would need huge amount of data for kind of simulation. So in those kind of cases, yes, you will go for table storage or NoSQL database, so that retrieval is very fast. Actions performed are very fast. Otherwise, it will become very slow when SQL database kind of thing is used. But again, I am repeating, SQL database is much cheaper when compared to using NoSQL database. A table is what we are going to create using portal. Inside table, what we store are referred as entities. So these are all entities. All these are entities. And every entity has a key value pair. So these are all properties. For this also I can actually put ID. So that's the ID. So table has entity has properties, and properties have value. Compulsory, 3 properties will be present in every row or every entity of a table. That is partition key, row key, and a timestamp. These 3 are mandatory. And a combination of partition key and row key is unique. I repeat, partition key by itself is not unique. Row key is by itself not unique, but a combination is supposed to be unique. You're not supposed to have two entities which have same partition key and row key. But only partition key can be duplicated. Only row key can be duplicated. And timestamp is the value which is what was the time when the data was stored or modified in that particular entity. That's what is timestamp. Entities with same partition key can be queried more quickly. That's the basic advantage of partition key. The arrangement is done in such a way that all the entities with same partition key are stored at one place. So when you are querying, you can query them pretty fast. Inserted, updated in atomic operations. That means we are going to perform batch operations on a table. At the time of insertion, I may want to insert 10 entities at a time or 100 entities at a time. But for all these entities, compulsory we should have same partition key. So in one atomic operation, we can insert 100 or more entities at a time, provided their partition key is same. So is the case with updation. An entity row key is unique identifier within a partition. I mean, we have to give that, nothing special actually. And this is how the URI of the table is supposed to be. Earlier we remember having blob here. This is your storage account name, table, rest is common, and then table name. So whenever we are sending a request, now how would we fetch the data from a table? To fetch the data from the table, remember we are going to make use of something like REST API. A developer is supposed to use REST API. In REST API, you are going to submit the request to a given URL using a HTTP method, and you will submit some data in JSON format. But what is the URL? That's what is this. So whenever you want to insert a record in the database table, this is supposed to be your table URL. A batch operation is a collection of operations, single atomic operation. 100 individual may contain up to 100 individual table operations. Okay, one batch is restricted to only 100. Likewise, remember here, one entity can have 252 properties, which is quite huge actually, but that's the limit. An entity can be 1 MB in size. One entity can be 1 MB in size. You have to keep these points in mind. With the requirement that each operation entity must have a partition key. Yes, row key, partition key, compulsory. A total payload of a batch operation cannot exceed 4 MB. That means the total size of all the values together is supposed to be 4 MBs or MB in a given batch operation. So if you are not a developer, this is the only information you are supposed to know. Though this also is actually supposed to be known to the developer, I just give little extra. But yes, as an infrastructure administrator, IT guy or administrator, what information you need to know about table is what is this. Of course, if you have access to storage, you can use Microsoft Storage Explorer, and in Storage Explorer there is a UI given to us through which we can see what all are the different entities in a given table. You can right click here, create a table, give some name, let's say product, and in product when you are adding, compulsory you should provide partition key, row key, timestamp will be auto generated, and the other of type string, you cannot change them. So partition key, I'll take that as categories, let us say all cats, row key first cat, and then I can add extra properties, the breed, the Indian cat, like that, add more properties, and it can go on like this. So that's all about table storage. Thank you.